So, Occupational Health and Safety Assessment Series 18001 says it is a source, situation, or act with the potential for harm in terms of human injury or ill health. HSE have, I think, probably the best definition in this. It's certainly my favourite, which is something with the potential to cause harm. So this includes substances or machines, methods of work, or other aspects of work. So a hazard is something with potential to cause harm. Whereas the risk, however large or small, is the chance. So the risk is a chance, however large or small, that that hazard could cause the harm. So the hazard is something that has the potential to cause harm, and the risk is the chance that the hazard could cause that harm to occur. OHS 18001 refers to it as a combination of the likelihood of an occurrence of a hazardous event or exposures and the severity of the injury or ill health that can be caused by the events or exposures. So to explain this a bit more simply, if you imagine a circular saw is not a hazard. Otherwise, you would say that a table was a hazard because a circular saw is just an inanimate object. Even a circular saw that is rotating is not a hazard. A circular saw, contact with the moving parts of the circular saw is a hazard. Electrocution by the circular saw is a hazard. Dropping the circular saw on your toe is a hazard. So that each one of these things has the potential to cause harm. So it's the actual interacting of the human with the harmful element. So if that's clear, just remember the circular saw. It's not the existence of the circular saw as an entity, as an object that is the hazard. It is contact with the moving parts of the circular saw that has the potential to cause harm. And then the risk from that circular saw, from the harm caused by that circular saw, is how likely that person is to come into contact with the moving parts of the circular saw, how severe the harm outcomes will be when they've cut themselves on the circular saw, and how many people that's going to affect. So separate out the the thing with the potential to cause harm from the likelihood and the severity. So likelihood and severity give you the level of risk from the hazard. Please replay this section if you want to get this straight in your head. So risk assessment is nothing more than a careful examination of what in your work could cause harm to people, so that you can weigh up whether you have taken enough precautions or should do more to prevent that harm. So, quite straightforward, really. So once you've worked out what you're already doing, work out what else you can do to reduce the level of risk to an acceptable level. And then here you can see they've put an action by whom, an action by when, and then a note to say when it's been done. So risk assessment is a scientific means for organising and evaluating scientific information relevant to the question of whether and with what likelihood individuals exposed to the agents in the environment will suffer harm. So this is just a note I thought I would put into say our previous risk assessment. Well, this is qualitative. It's entirely based upon opinion. But you can, if you've got do a very sophisticated risk assessment for very high levels of risk, where you want to remove opinion completely and just base it on scientific information. And so Callow has come up with a definition of risk assessment, which sort of encompasses the idea of using data from scientific study, so things like toxicology or noise exposure and harms caused in workplaces, in order to help you understand when you have done enough to control the risk.